My name is Kayla Witt, and I'm a GIS technician here at GIS Surveyors.
My name is Rachel Lambie. Um, my title is Field Technician 2, otherwise known as Chainman.
So our company is currently working with a utilities company to help them with their fire risk mitigation program. So basically, they're swapping out materials like their electrical posts and wiring to make it better for the California environment where we face a lot of fires. So swapping it out for different materials that are less likely to be damaging during a fire. So in my position, I am currently, you know, switching things over from one format to another. So I am switching things like data over from PLS CAD format, so which is usually used by engineers, over to a GIS format, which is something that we can further use to make maps and illustrate other changes for the customers.
GIS Surveyors Incorporated is a multifaceted geospatial firm that specializes in land surveying, GIS, LIDAR, and underground utility locating. And so we are a service disabled veteran owned business and an employee owned company. So in my position, I work in like a 2-person crew, usually totally in the field. So I'm outside all day and we collect data on the placement of existing utilities. We make topographical maps that show land features, buildings, fences, that kind of thing. We find, collect, and set property corners for new construction or, you know, buying and selling of land. And we mark the placement of so they can build utilities, buildings, fences, any kind of new construction type of thing.
I feel pretty privileged and lucky that I haven't really had to face much adversity in the workplace. I've been really lucky in that fact, but I spent over, 8, 9 years in the military. So in that environment, I felt like we were all kind of on the same playing field, and just seen as equals. And here I feel like it's pretty much the same. The only, thing that I would say that is kind of different as a female in this environment is that I feel like any career that you may pick in like the STEM field, you're probably going to be more likely working with men than with women. But I feel like slowly but surely we're kind of, meeting them up with more women in the field. So that's always a positive.
Adversity comes in different forms. A lot, probably the main adversity for me, which is whether you're a woman or a man, is working outside all day. The weather can be adverse. So I try to be prepared for, what I'm going to encounter outside, have the proper clothing, and, take breaks when I need to, be aware of what's going on with my body. If it's too hot, you need to drink more water and go cool down, or if it's too cold, go get warm and put on more clothes. Relationally, it is another area that can be problematic sometimes. And so, especially working with just one other person, you're kind of just with that person all day. And so you can't, I mean, if you don't get along, that can be difficult. So I always just try to be as friendly and respectful as possible, and don't take things personally that are just random comments said sometimes. And you know even if it's a negative thing, just forgive and let it go and carry on. So this was a difficult one for me. The only person that I could really think of was Margaret Thatcher because I remember admiring her as a teenager. She was like this woman who was leading a country and, doing a good job of it for a long time. And, that's back long ago when there were hardly any female leaders of any kind. And she was kind of almost a pioneer in the political realm, not entirely, but, she's the one that made me think, wow, she can lead a country. I can do whatever I want. So, Margaret Thatcher.
I actually had an officer that I worked with while I was in the military who inspired me, but it's all just for simple facts that she was just really kind, trusted me in knowing that I knew what I was doing at my job, and also she just really wanted to see me succeed and would help me to do anything possible to really do that. So I kind of appreciated that, and I found that inspiring as a leader. Okay, so I guess anybody, that's really first starting out, or just starting your first job, leading into your career, I would say just being open and being a sponge and really just trying to soak in any kind of knowledge that, your job will provide you with. And I feel like in college, you're getting your basic building blocks for the career that you're looking to step into. So really just taking advantage of asking your workers for help, like knowing that, you're a beginner and it's okay to not know things. So just asking a lot of questions and just soaking up all that knowledge would probably be my number one suggestion.
Well, my first piece of advice is expect adversity and difficulties. There's going to be times and days that are just hard. And so don't be surprised by it and just persevere. You have to just work through it and don't give up and don't quit sometimes. Um, as a woman in a mostly male field, I guess, I never expected special treatment, and so I think that's important too because you shouldn't expect anything, except adversity, maybe. But you you sometimes get special treatment and, accept that graciously. And that's I think there's nothing wrong with that. When I started, long time ago, back in the 90s, there was none of this political, not none, but not very much political correctness of, you can't say these words and you can't talk in a certain way, So I had to just deal with it. And I know that that still goes on. So you have to kind of learn to control your emotions and just, you know, always be respectful to other people, regardless of how they're treating you. And, put your best effort into your work and hopefully you enjoy your work because, as they say, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. So that is, that's the way to go. I mean, get into something that you like and be respectful and gracious to your coworkers, those above and below you, and people you encounter outside your coworkers. If you just take the attitude of being respectful and gracious to everyone you encounter and kind, That goes a long ways in smoothing your path. And be kind and persevere. That's my main points there.